Shout out to LTTV.
Shout out to LTTV.
Shout out to brother LTTV.
Salute the LTTV in the building, man.
Shout out to LTTV.
Nobody's LT, and I'm certainly not implying that.
Shout out to LTTV.
Shout out to LTTV.
If y'all want to keep up with the news and just shit be going on, subscribe to LTTV. That nigga know everything about everything. I ain't gonna lie.
Shout out to brother LTTV.
Shout out to LTTV.
Nobody's LT, and I'm certainly not implying that.
LT cooking your ass.
Shaming voters is a terrible idea.
Is Obama in the wrong here with how he's talking about black men in particular and singling them out in this way?
Yeah.
We called them like men on the fucking three-way. Boom. Yo, Vlad, yo, check it out. Yeah, it's me and Godfrey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boom, bam, boom.
Yeah.
Yo, listen, man. This whole shit with the Farrakhan shit, and I feel like this is how it first was said. Like, yo, bro, you kind of need to, like, just apologize, man. You know what I mean?
Man, when you step in that field, you gotta accept everything that come with it. Ain't no, I just want to turn this button off now. Now I want to turn this button off. I don't want to do this, but nah, you forgetting the other shit that come with it.
Do I seem like I'm worried about that?
The same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
Barack Obama has started a war, and he's about to get this work.
But the lecturing didn't stop there. As Barack Obama put on a stern fatherly act, he asked black men to learn from black women.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that.
In corridors of power, Barack Obama's words managed to touch a raw nerve.
And that he's been stirring up shit in the black community, and he's made his millions on black culture. And so now if you're gonna do it, everybody's getting paid. And if they do it, he's got to start acting right, because before everybody was like, oh, I'll just do it for the exposure. I'll just do it. And that's dead now because he's a dirtbag.
Makes me think, I'm speaking to men directly now. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Like, we've been serving you for a long time. What's wrong with you to go someplace else? That restaurant doesn't really like you. How would you feel as a customer? You would be like, but you didn't even ask me why I left in the first place. Have you? You feel disgusted. You might even want to fight the individual. That's the same thing that Obama's doing to these black men.
Niggas really kill motherfuckers in Chicago.
You should kill
That's
me.
what they do.
I love
But
that
what
idea.
I'm telling you is
Somebody just shoot me. For
But what
sure.
I'm telling you is, Adam,
yeah,
you're gonna get f***ed up one day if you keep tweaking with people. I'm telling you, bro.
Everybody sees him as a dirtbag. I don't even, when he comes up on my feed, I don't even click. The first thing I do is I click on it and I go, don't have
even
this
come up on my feed.
Don't put this on my feed. I reject it and I report it because he's a culture vulture and we shouldn't do that.
They've been raising us and working and having our backs.
What started out as a fatherly lecture came back to bite back Obama. Black men took to social media to share their frustration.
As soon as a black dude says something about, his folks, all of a sudden he turns into, fuck you, black dude, don't talk shit about me, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, he needs to apologize. All of a sudden this superiority thing comes in. Nick did, and then you can't do that for us.
What happened, man? When you and Marlon Wayans, what was the deal with that, man? I was being an asshole. Okay, there we go.
Talking about, you gotta rephrase that.
There we go.
You like
There we go. I was being an asshole.
I'm gonna take this down. I appreciate that.
I was being an asshole.
We'll call that accountability.
I have publicly apologized, like when I did the interview.
Yeah, LTTV, Blunt Talk with LT, back at it with another video. All right, let's get right into this one, because when I first seen this, I was like,
how do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
I'm like, okay, so y'all are giving him credit for accountability for apologizing to Marlon Wayans, where he has a vested financial interest in trying to get that interview with Marlon Wayans, so he's bitching up and doing all sorts of shit for Marlon Wayans, but the folks that basically helped him ascend to a certain peak on the platform, he treated like shit, never paid them. He started paying other artists that came on the platform. He disrespected Godfrey. He disrespected Lord Jamar. As we listen to Godfrey and Lord Jamar's reason for not fucking with Vlad, it is all clear, because I covered this what was it, 2-3 years ago when they first said fuck Vlad over the Farrakhan comments that Vlad made and refused to apologize. Said fuck his friends over that. Refused to apologize, was stern on it, had to retract the article on Vlad TV, but he refused to apologize. He was being petty because his money wasn't in question at that time. It wasn't a business endeavor that would have affected him going in the future, so he didn't give a shit about the people that he worked with and the people that he cultivated a friendship with. So, very bad for Vlad, and they want to give him credit for apologizing to Marlon Wayans, and he apologized to another person on social media because his money could get potentially fucked up. It's not about respect or anything. It's about business for Vlad, and that's why when you have friends in this business, they're not really friends, man. Not really friends. Let's get it, y'all.
I'm gonna take this down. I appreciate that.
I was being an asshole.
We'll call that accountability.
I have publicly apologized, like when I did the interview with academics. I publicly apologized to Marlon. I also sent him a text and privately apologized to him. He didn't respond, but I assume he saw the text. And quite honestly, Marlon was actually cool about it. We had a conversation before, I went public with it, and he said, he told me his point of view. I told him mine. He didn't, we couldn't come to an agreement, and I was an asshole and made the whole conversation public. And whatever came of it is whatever came of it, and I accept it. You know what I'm saying? But it was just me being an asshole.
And he couldn't admit that when it came to the Farrakhan issue, and it had his friendship with Lord Jamar, his business friendship with Lord Jamar and Godfrey were on the line. He didn't value these folks. He really did treat them like they were lesser beings, as you can hear from their commentary that's in the clip coming up. So, okay, so this is a 3-part episode, chat. 3-part episode. We're speaking about Lord Jamar and Godfrey saying why they would not return to Vlad. We have black men standing up and speaking out against Barack Obama and his entitled speech that pretty much shot Kamala's campaign in the foot. It's like he did way more damage than he did good with that speech. He aggravated a lot of black men that were Democratic anyway, and they were in the corner of Kamala, and he just basically put misogyny on them, and he was very condescending, spoke to folks like he was their father. Folks were like, what the hell's going on here, Obama? But yeah, so we have a lot of commentary in relation to that, and then ultimately we have the Adam 22 moment where Ruga goes off on Adam 22. There's a lot in this episode, chat. We're gonna deal with it in fragments. Let's get it, chat.
Explain these people why we both left Vlad TV. Listen, we've never done that. We've never done that.
Okay.
We've never done that.
Fucking vulture.
No, that's.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because people go, Vlad, what happened with Vlad? What happened to Vlad? Ah! And we can explain.
All right. Well,
our
see,
situation
some
with
people,
Vlad.
you know, I mean, I feel like for me, it was, if you really boil it down, is because he was not a good friend.
Right. Right.
See, everybody wants to talk about the Farrakhan shit, right? They act like, oh, Farrakhan, he lied.
That was
on
just part of it. That
Farrakhan.
was just part of
was
it.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Okay? But really, he tried to pose himself to me and to Godfrey
as friends.
As friends.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And it was one way.
And it was a one-way relationship. Like,
Yeah.
this nigga would love to brag about the shit that he got and all of that.
Yeah, he did that
But
a
he's
lot.
not really
You're still a
trying to
cornball.
give you any opportunity.
still a cornball.
And it's these it's black girls giving him that confidence, too.
Opportunity. Oh,
I'm getting rich.
Shout out to Armani with the $5 super chat. W's in the chat for Armani. Now, Armani says he's definitely a vulture, but some still go on. This is the thing. They allowed him to be a vulture in the first place, and that's why it's fucked up for Lord Jamar and Godfrey, because they looked at Vlad as a friend, but that's when he was in vulture mode because he used their friendship to get to a level of ascension. Now he pays folks. So folks have a vested interest in getting a level of visibility and money from this. Before it was, oh, we're gonna do it for the clout, while Vlad was getting bread.
I'm getting rich.
A lot of folks associate with Adam 22's platform, do free interviews. They're not getting paid for no interviews on Adam 22's platform, no jumper. When Adam found out folks were trying to pay for interviews on his platform, he felt disrespected because he doesn't charge folks for interviews, or he doesn't pay folks for interviews. So folks are doing no jumper, allowing them to be vultures over there just for visibility. Oh, I just want a little bit of clout. I want a little bit of status, so let me do that show. Oh, I'm on, y'all. I'm on no jumper, getting hoed pretty much, doing it for free, while he's making money off of you. Like, this is crazy. But, you know, that's why you folks really can't complain about culture vultures if they're sitting on these couch for free in exchange for exposure. Like, do the business. Then they're getting it out the mud. Then you can't call them a vulture because they're just doing the business.
well, that's a whole other.
Yeah.
But he thinks his opportunity is just allowing you to be on his show.
Right.
He thinks that's some great
Like
shit
you
for
never did.
And he'll go like this.
before in your life.
He'll go like this. You know what? Hey, show me. I'm gonna be Vlad. I'm gonna go off camera.
Hey,
Wait, hold on. Ready? Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm
yeah.
Vlad.
So what's up, V-Lad?
So let's talk about I mean, you were in hip hop. You were in hip hop, right?
Yeah,
You were in
yeah.
You were in hip hop for a long time. Brand Nubians. I mean, you were killing it. So what do you think about today's rappers? Because let me tell you something. I DJ'd for a long time. I DJ'd for a really long time. Really long time, and you know,
we never heard you.
But I did like
all right.
mixtapes for a long time.
All right.
And I
never
made
bought
lots.
one.
And
I never
listen,
heard of you.
I made a lot of money. I made lots of money. I made lots of money.
Okay.
And now I'm doing my show, which has 5 million subscribers, and that's the reason why you're on here, because you're trying to get some attention. Anyway,
Right.
so what do you think about the state of hip hop? Because I think that there are some artists that are way better than new artists. That's all I'm saying. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? So I mean, how do you feel about the state of hip hop right now?
Pretty good.
That wasn't bad, right? But
Nah, but like, so when he did the whole bullshit with Farrakhan and all that,
yes,
he put us in a position where it was like, yo, bro, like, Because I feel like I was in a position where I was used to saving this guy from himself a lot of times. When he might be on the
veering
wrong,
off or
yeah,
going
when
off the
he might
cliff.
be on the wrong position, I'll be like, yo, Vlad, that's not a good look. You need to do this. And he would do it.
As a friend.
He would do it.
Yeah.
Like, as a friend. Like I would try to get, I would try to counsel him.
Yes.
You see, and he would take the counsel.
Yes.
Right? So, and there was times where I gave him counsel where it got him out of super jams. Okay? Super jams.
Right.
Super
I got you.
jams.
I got you.
Right?
I got you.
So, where he was ready to offer other people money for their services, and I'm like, I'm the one that gave you the fucking advice, bro. You're not
Yeah,
offering
yeah.
me shit.
Yeah.
Right? Okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, so when it got with this whole shit, with the Farrakhan
Farrakhan.
shit, it was like, yo, now people is like, yo, your man Vlad, and you be going on his shit, and you know? And it's like, yo, bro, yo, the niggas is coming at me now, like, you know what I mean?
Like you was
Like
the problem.
This is a backlashing on me. Your fucking stance on this.
Yeah, it's gonna that's what we were talking about earlier. Because if you're on a platform as a man that is seen in the culture as a culture vulture, that pays little to no respect to black people, and then you are aligned on his platform, always giving commentary, always giving him content, they're gonna look at you like, yo, what's going on here? You're supporting a culture vulture. He has little to no respect for our people. I don't even want to say little. No respect. And you go online with that, so they're going to look at you crazy. They're going to start blaming you because you basically emboldened somebody to do that type of shit, having little respect or no respect, and then traversing the scene of hip-hop and black folks and trying to basically come up off them. That's crazy. So that's what he was faced with, and he had to stand up, and then Vlad, no respect. Said, fuck them, I'm not apologizing. I don't care how y'all feel. I don't care how y'all look. I don't care how it damages y'all brands. A little apology? No, you're not going to bully me. And it's like, what do you mean bully? Crazy work.
Is backlashing on me.
Did they give you a call?
People that were doing that?
No.
People
just
the public. In general,
Yeah.
the whole consensus was, yo, this nigga's disrespecting the minister.
Yeah, but y'all
you are standing with this dude.
You found out earlier than me because during COVID, I was still doing some Vlad interviews, at the crib. And so I got the call from West Coast Cam. Sent me a remember Cam?
I know what
sent me a video like
podcast.
he said, "Yo, God, I need to talk to you, man, real quick." Boo, boo. Then I get DMs going, "Oh, so you gonna keep tap dancing for this motherfucking?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I had just I just filmed with Vlad, and I didn't know. And so and Vlad goes, "Yo, man, are we cool? I just want to make sure that everything's cool, everything's all right." I go, What are you talking about? I was like, he's like, no, there was just some shit that went down, and I just want to make sure that we're cool. Then I get the messages, Royce the Fight Nine, blah blah, all these motherfuckers, and then his grandson Elijah says, "Brother, can we talk to you? We want to holler at you and Lord Jamal Butson." And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I called you, right? I think we talked, and he goes, "Yo, there's some shit that just hit the fan, blah, blah, blah." And then we had a big conference call, and we actually, as men, called fucking Vlad himself as a friend.
I called him and I was like, yo, we need to talk to this nigga.
One-on-one.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, because this some bullshit. We need to let this nigga know, like, yo, he needs to change his stance on this.
Yeah.
And if he don't fucking change his stance, yo, bro, we need to stop fucking with him, man.
Yeah.
Because this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yes.
We need to take a stand on this shit because this is making us look bad right now.
Yeah.
And that ain't cool.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope.
And so he said, yeah, all right. So boom, we called him. And we like, yo, we gonna give him a chance as a friend.
We said, let's
Like, you know
not
what I
talk
mean?
behind your back and talk
And
friends.
ain't nobody do no sucker shit like record the conversation.
Nah, hell no. Nope.
Or no dumb shit
Nope.
like that.
Straight
You
up.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We called them like men on the fucking three-way. Boom. Yo, Vlad, yo, check it out. Yeah, it's me and Godfrey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boom, bam, boom.
Yeah.
Yo, listen, man. You know what I mean? This whole shit with the Farrakhan shit, and I feel like this is how it first was said. Like, yo, bro, you kind of need to like just apologize, man. You
That's
know what I
it.
mean?
He was
bro,
like,
that's something
I'm
you
not
need to do.
apologizing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, he said he sent out
Well, hold up.
a thing. Remember, he sent out. I sent out a little. I sent out a little, sort of an apology, like a thing that I made a mistake. I said you didn't say
said,
sorry,
that
bro.
Yeah, he didn't say he didn't say he said on the apology. He said he put out a retraction on his website. So he retracted the statement that he made on his website. All he had to do was apologize, retract the statement. You were incorrect. You were in the wrong. You put something on Farrakhan's name that he never said. You recontextualized his statement to try to basically derive a different message out of that statement. So it's like, it's filthy work out here. All you had to do was apologize for it. You had your headlines everywhere. You didn't apologize because why? Pebble said it, ego against these guys. You have a superiority complex when it comes to Vlad, or when it comes to Godfrey and Lord Jamar. You see them as beneath you. You have no respect for Farrakhan, so you don't want to apologize initially. And then you look at these guys and you're like, yeah, you see these guys beneath you, no respect. You don't want to be cowered down by people that you see beneath you. It's pathetic work out here, man. It's good that they don't fuck with Vlad because they can see the lack of respect. And if somebody that blatantly lacks respect like that, like, you can't fuck with them. Can't be doing business with them.
That ain't a real, like...
It was bullshit.
Yeah.
It was like a company. When a company's racially discriminating against you,
And it's the apology,
management.
It's the apology, not apology.
But first of all, he made Nick Cannon apologize for what he said, and Nick did it because, well, Nick had a lot to lose. I'm glad Nick did it because he hires a lot of African Americans. Nick apologized, and you even told me he's not even a practicing, you know what? He's an atheist.
Yeah.
No, he's an atheist.
Right.
And so all of a sudden,
I've seen him eat pork.
Bacon.
And you know what? And because his girls be making pork for him. So, so then, and so then he goes, he's not, as soon as a black dude says something about, his folks, all of a sudden he turns into, fuck you, black dude, don't talk shit about me, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, he needs to apologize. All of a sudden this superiority thing comes in. Nick did, and then you can't do that for us. And whether you like Farrakhan or not, whether you like...
For me, I don't even look at that. I don't even look at the fact that Nick Cannon apologized. I look at the fact that you apologized to Marlon Wayans. You apologized to some random chick on Twitter that was cooking you. You went out of your way to apologize to various folks when it could affect your money. When it's inconsequential to your money and it's just about the respect of the community that you culture vulture from, you're like, fuck that. I'm just going to continue to vulture and fuck the respect. Crazy.
Sharpton, whatever, those are people that represent us. They're not perfect, we get it. And nobody perfect on your side.
Farrakhan is still revered.
Big time.
In the black community.
Big time.
Yes.
And I don't give a fuck what your personal feelings are. You're not going to disrespect the man amongst black people. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
How about this? What he said wasn't even right. It was
wrong.
It was bad faith argument that he made. He knew that it was hyperbole what he said. In fact, he said the thing was they need to be hit with the rock of truth.
Yes,
that's what it was. What he was saying
figurative.
wasn't even the truth in the first place.
It was figurative, and he said that,
And he
I
knew
go,
it was figurative.
Yep, that's what he did. He was receiving negative backlash on, what was it, the Neighborhood Talk or Shade Room, or was it both? I remember it was making headlines. He was getting all sorts of bad press, and he had to apologize. They didn't make a big enough stink where he got enough bad press where he had to apologize. That was the issue. Not enough folks parroted the message that Lord Jamar and Godfrey had at the time. I remember I did a breakdown on this on Blunt Talk with LT. I also put it on the Blunt Talk with LT Clips channel. Those videos did well, but that's clearly not enough to have an impact on something that's supposed to be large scale that would affect his position in hip hop, where I'll have folks questioning whether they should be on Vlad's platform in the first place. But clearly nobody was fucking with Lord Jamar and Godfrey's message enough to actually make that difference, because you see Boozy and various other folks constantly on Vlad's show. But Vlad pays them now. Vlad used the wave of Lord Jamar, Godfrey, and various other folks where he didn't pay them to establish a level of visibility, a level of status in the space. And then now he's paying other folks. So they're eating off the backs of Godfrey and Lord Jamar's hard work, and he basically threw them to the side. But that's the business. That is the business we're in. It's filthy work.
So it got to a point where we tried to give him the easy way.
Yes, we did.
And
he didn't want
that.
that.
And he was like, well, yo, fuck that. He still said negative shit about Jewish people. You know, basically, I'm not fucking with him. And so then it was like, so then I came at him with the gangster shit. I ain't gonna lie. As you should. I'm like, yo, bro, if you don't fucking apologize, bro, really now I said something to the effect of, now it's past the point of even asking anymore.
Yeah, right.
I said, bro, you need to apologize.
Period.
If you don't apologize, we not fucking with you no more.
And he still stood on 10 toes.
He said, well, I'm not going to be
bullied.
I'm not going to be bullied into.
Yeah. Oh, he did that. Their black
I'm not
aggression.
Be bullied into apologizing. You know,
the black aggression wasn't working for him because he usually have aggression when brothers are telling on each other. You know,
he loves that.
He likes that when we're being foolish, but you know when
now
he's wrong,
standing on black business is a problem.
Right. That's now and then and I know he gave some jabs about us on other interviews and shit.
I haven't watched him because if I did, I probably would fucking be ready to
Yeah, and I mean,
See, this is the problem, y'all. This is the problem. There's when there's other folks in hip hop, white folks in hip hop. Nobody's out here gatekeeping, saying, "Oh, you're white, you're not allowed in hip hop. You can't be a DJ. You can't have a platform. You can't establish yourself in hip hop." So when people align themselves with Vlad initially, you can't begrudge them and be like, oh, they were cooning, they were X, Y, and Z. It's once you see the character and you continue to align, the same way as like when a Pearly Things was called out, or like Adam 22 and his pedo ways and his I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get demonetized, but it's like when you align after they're seen as who they are, that's when you can give them labels. But prior to that, they're just they're somebody existing within the space, and I don't know. It is what it is. Let's get it.
His new fucking haircut. Oh.
No, I haven't seen any of it. I haven't seen none of it.
I just see it.
I think we have the same barber too.
And his new fucking cut. The way his new fucking haircut. Oh.
No, I haven't seen any of it. I haven't seen none of it.
I just see it.
I think we have the same barber too.
How do y'all have the same barber?
How do you do that?
Whoops, wrong one.
How did this happen? Who was the idiot that did this?
His new fucking cut. The way his fucking hair looks right now.
It's angering you.
Beard. It's just. It is angering me a little bit.
And people were like, "You got beef with Vlad?" I never had beef with him, man. We just didn't agree on his what he would believe.
Why wouldn't you have beef with him? He disrespected the culture.
He did. No,
he
fine.
disrespected.
But I'm not going around saying crazy shit about him.
Yeah, see that's he's like, why wouldn't you have beef? You could just dislike the man and not want to associate with them. You don't have to have beef. They say you have to have beef. It's like, nah, you can just be like, I don't fuck with you. That's it. It's not war. It's not beef. It's just I don't fuck with you for X reasons, and it's like, yeah, keep it pushing.
I get it, but you're a culture vulture. Fuck
what's
you.
crazy is he has the nerve to pay for interviews now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, he's paying for. Oh, so he didn't pay y'all,
and that was the beef.
That was
he didn't pay me, but he had me.
That was the beef with Marlon Wayne. Marlon Wayne's won $40,000 plus like a cut of a percentage of the revenues. Now, what's even more a slap in the face?
Listen, y'all, man, I'm trying to stand up for Lord Jamar and Godfrey out here. All right, I'm trying to stand up for Lord Jamar and Godfrey. Look at the title, man. It's Black Men Get Revenge. All right. We on the winning team right now. This right here.
That's what you call winning. A nigga's nuts in your face. Man, I need to see what you call.
Nah, man.
Just saw an interview where he was on Mass Hoffa.
Vlad?
Yes. Where he said he was being an asshole to Marlon, and he apologized to Marlon Wayans.
I don't know if that's true. Is it?
It is true. We reacted to that video initially. We reacted to that video in the beginning, prior to this video. So that is true. He absolutely apologized to Marlon Wayans, and we've seen it on Academics channel. Was it Academics channel? Or an interview? No, when he interviewed Academics, he apologized. Academics made him apologize.
Watch the fucking interview, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh, he apologized.
He said out of his own mouth, he said, I was being an asshole. He said, and I apologized.
Because he went to Shay Shay. That's why.
But
so hold up.
Why is that?
So hold up. You can apologize to Marlon Wayans, but not Minister Farrakhan.
But
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
it's a different time. It's a different time. He sees the writing on the
You
wall.
can apologize to the guy that made white chicks.
Here's the
but
thing.
you can't apologize to the guy that organized the Million Man March.
It's clear lack of respect for black people, black leaders, the culture in which he benefits off of and makes money off of. He only wants to apologize when revenue's at stake, when he could potentially lose a bag that he can see in Marlon Wayans. Filthy work, man.
He's looking at it as an entertainment.
Because of the fact that everybody's turning against Vlad, because now we're seeing that Vlad is a culture vulture and that he's been stirring up shit in the black community and he's...
All right, we're going to keep it a stack. We trying to support Godfrey and Lord Jamar out here, but come on, man. We knew what Vlad was for a long time now. Even when y'all was on Vlad's platform, we knew what he was for a long time. But listen, man. Lord Jamar is a flat earther. A flat earther.
What the hell was that?
So some people see things differently. So it may have taken him a long time to see that. I don't know, man.
Made his millions on black culture. And so now if you're going to do it, everybody's getting paid. And if they do it, he's got to start acting right, because before everybody was like, oh, I'll just do it for the exposure.
Yeah, that whole I do it for the exposure is what allows people to be culture vultures. It's what allows outsiders that are not part of the culture to just pretty much come in there with their platform, their large infrastructure, their invested money, and be like, you know what, let me just capitalize off of these fools because they just want a level of visibility on my platform. So it is what it is. See, this is the thing. You said you would never apologize to the black community. We thought, this is why I don't use the word never. I would have never thought Tommy would have, but we have it right here.
Back to the fields.
It's funny, I want to take time out right now to apologize to black folks. I used to tell them, but you get in those white people spaces, they let you speak. They're not just trying to be childish. Us blacks got to be like those whites. I apologize to every black person I ever said that to.
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
I'll just do it. And that's dead now because he's a dirtbag. Everybody sees him as a dirtbag. I don't even, when he comes up.
Oh, Jesus. Ugh. We doing this right now? Are we doing this right now? Prove the world's round?
Survey said.
Listen, chat. Listen, man. I can't fly out of the planet right now and take pictures in 4K and show you that the world is round. I've looked into flat Earth. I've looked into it as a concept. I looked into their metrics and how things work and how it accommodates. There's still certain things they have not provided answers for. Weather and climate, everything falls apart when it comes to seasons. A lot of things fall apart when it comes to this ice wall that's holding everything in. Gravity doesn't exist. There's a lot of things. I've looked into this shit. This shit is confusing, perplexing at best. I can't prove. Well, actually, I can prove in various ways, but people are not going to want to accept the round Earth things that can prove that the world is round. So it is what it is, man. If it's still in question at this point, man.
Survey said.
We don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
On my feed, I don't even click. The first thing I do is I click on it and I go, don't have this
come up on my feed.
Don't put this on my feed. I reject it and I report it because he's a culture vulture and we shouldn't do that.
So that's yeah. So and there's some stuff I'll watch, If I go, oh, this guy's on there. Because there's some guys that
He
still
gets
do it.
he gets no views from me. If you on there,
Michael Jai
I won't
White
know.
is on there, and who else? DL still goes
And I
on
get
there.
it, they getting a check.
TK, which is fine. He's paying
None of
them.
that shit.
And he wanted me to host, like, do some like guest hosting. He was going to pay me.
He was going to do the same
Right, so
thing
for you,
to me
right. And-
before this shit happened.
Yeah, before it happened. Yeah, he was going to pay. So.
And staying with the U.S. presidential election, former President Barack Obama has opened a can of worms after he lectured black men to vote for Kamala Harris while speaking in Pennsylvania last week.
Okay, so that was the first portion of the show, the Lord Jamar Godfrey speaking about Vlad and their issues and why they will not return to Vlad. Now, this is the longest part of the show. This part features a bevy of different folks speaking out against Barack Obama's comments and the entitlement of these comments. This had a lot of people up in arms. I've seen so many videos, so many content creators, and that wasn't just the right wing, the Anton Daniels of the world. It wasn't just the O'Shea Duke Jacksons of the world. It's people that are registered Democrats that speak and say that they're voting for Kamala Harris, like Stephen A. Smith and other black folks on these airways. So it's like we have pretty much all black folks are pissed off with these comments. Nobody likes these comments. Whether you're a Republican black or you are a Democratic black, you are not in favor of these comments that Barack Obama made. Let's get into this chat.
America's first black president had some frank discussions with young black voters who could play a crucial role in this year's election, asking black men to accept the entry of women, particularly women of color, in corridors of power. Barack Obama's words managed to touch a raw nerve. Though most black men agreed to President Obama's sentiments, some made some rather strong objections. Our next report brings you more.
Former U.S. President Barack Obama has found himself on the wrong side of American voters, particularly black men. Last week, the 44th President of America gave a blistering performance in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Speaking in the swing state, Obama called on men and black men to vote for Kamala Harris.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I've noticed this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength.
All due respect, shut the hell up. I want to hear that.
Now, especially the men, sir. So you just come out here and you start accusing men of being sexist and misogynistic and championing for Trump. Like, what is this, bro? This accusation, this shaming of the pub. What are we doing out here? If this is supposed to help Kamala?
And I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. Real strength is about working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining. Real strength is about taking responsibility for your actions.
All right, so this is what are we doing out here, bro? What the hell are we doing out here? How are you going to be the exact opposite of what... Bro, let's play this back and break this down real quick.
About working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining.
It's about working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining. Y'all know that the black men, or not even just black men, black support amongst Democrats have been dropping every 4 years, every election, because y'all have been doing less and less while demanding the vote, being entitled to the black vote, because we represent the highest number of consistent voters for Democrats. So they just got so used to it. Oh, they're not going to do anything for black men and black women because, oh, we have black women showing up at the polls consistently all the time. Black men, the support has dropped a bit, but it's still high numbers. So you're just taking it for granted and taking advantage of it. And then now saying, oh, pointing the finger at folks and acting like, oh, you got to show up for the polls. Oh, you like what Trump's doing? It's like, well, if the policies are better, if the pockets is getting fatter on this side, then maybe we're going to start looking at what's going on over there if they're going to do something for the community. But the problem with these motherfuckers is they're so goddamn entitled. So entitled. And that's why they're having problems. And that's why this backfired hard on Obama. The terrible speech. And this is just one of many. This is bad. He had a bad week.
Real strength is about taking responsibility for your actions.
Taking responsibility for your actions. Y'all have not been y'all have not done a good job while in government. That's why the support is slipping. Y'all have not promised or offered black folks anything. Y'all were asked about reparations. Kamala said, I ain't doing shit for black people specifically. I'm doing things for everybody in America, because once everybody gets lifted, I can't remember what the fuck she said. All I know is she said no reparations, all right? So it's like, what are we doing out here?
And telling the truth even when it's inconvenient.
Telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Now, this is the problem with Kamala. I don't... Listen, man. You know what? I'm gonna let this play.
Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That is what we should want for our daughters and for our sons, and that is what I want to see in a president of the United States of America.
And that wasn't it. As Barack Obama continued to open a bigger can of worms after addressing the crowds from the podium, he spoke to a group of black men separately.
See, this is the problem. This is the problem with the Democratic government. This is the problem with the liberal government in Canada. This is what they want. They want to force... I don't even want to say certain things because the guidelines will get your channel yanked if you say certain things about what we see on this. Come on, man. What are we doing out here? This is the problem. This is at the forefront of their issues, and it's like we don't care about this shit. We have mass immigration fucking up the identity of the country out here. See, it's different issues for us in Canada than America, but at the same time, we're still facing immigration. Still at the forefront of issues for both countries right now.
He urged them to embrace women in power and pick Kamala Harris as their next president.
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because
I'm telling y'all, it's the same thing. They're shitting on the beaches. They're shitting in the streets. It's the same thing as they're eating the dogs and cats. It's just the immigrants. It's the same thing. Basically, people are just saying there's a problem with the immigrants. There's a problem with mass immigration. There's a problem with the way they are pretty much just bringing their cultural differences and saying fuck the customs of your country and the cultural norms, and let's just do what the fuck we do in our country here. And it's just like, whoa, we don't do that shit out here. What are we doing? So that is some of the issue when it comes to immigration in Canada and America.
My understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns.
See, this is the problem. Folks, especially in Canada, I'm going to speak for my country. I ain't going to speak for y'all. In Canada, we are not anti-immigration. We are a melting pot full of different people. Bunch of different immigrants over time. But the problem is when it's mass immigration and you do not know how to control it, where the immigrants are displacing the people that need living. There's a housing crisis. There's barely any places to rent. Rent is through the roof. Mass inflation. Things that can't accommodate all these citizens. That's the problem. When there's too much, and then there's border control in America where they're just letting them in, and they're sending their worst. They're sending their murderers and rapists. No, I'm joking. We got to stop with that. But you know what I'm talking about, man.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw.
Okay. All right, chat. Let's stay focused. Chat. I want to react to this properly, y'all. I want to keep everything in perspective, chat.
Reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
Now, this is Democrats lacking accountability. Do you know the amount of work you put in when you were running? The amount of galvanizing support that you had to do with your impactful speeches? It's not the same. And you sold a lot of dreams and you didn't actually do anything for the community. So that stain is still here for the Democrats. So Kamala has to live through that. Biden's ineptitude, Kamala has to live through that. So you're talking about there isn't the same support for Biden, or there isn't the same support for Kamala as there was for Biden, as there was for Hillary, as there was for Obama. What's up with that? It's like, maybe y'all dropped the ball. Maybe y'all aren't as accountable as y'all would like, and then you're being entitled in looking at us like, oh, we're supposed to be at the podiums. Not me. I'm Canadian. I can't vote. But you know what I'm talking about, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Black men ain't having it.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
Get him out of here! He's got no place in here! Get rid of him! Okay?
Bro, what are you talking about? Hillary won the popular vote. Most black men were voting Democrat. What are we talking about out here? Oh, now you're putting sexism and misogyny on these black men because y'all aren't doing enough campaigning. Y'all are not doing enough for the community. Y'all are not offering anybody anything. The policies are not aligning. So all of a sudden, people are like, this is crazy. This is why Obama's getting cooked. Terrible speech. How are you going to shame the voters?
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
But the lecturing didn't stop there. As Barack Obama put on a stern fatherly act, he asked black men to learn from black women, whom the former president claims are against Donald Trump.
Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
The women in our lives have been getting our backs the entire time. Sir, what does that have to do with Kamala Harris running for president and the policies that she puts forward to make a young black man want to vote for her? I'm so confused with this. What the hell is going on?
They've been raising us and working and having our backs.
You know, some folks were raised with fathers, you know, like.
And when we get in trouble, and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you? That's not acceptable.
That's not acceptable, Obama. That's not acceptable. That statement right there, that goes against Kamala as well, bruh. What are you talking about? That statement right there works.
No, you can't be that. That's hypocritical. That's hypocritical.
Man, yo, this guy's he's really trying to say fuck your campaign. You ain't gonna win. I'm gonna be the only black president ever. Like, what type of sabotage is this, bruh? Like, what are we doing out here?
That's not. This shouldn't even be a question.
What Obama meant was that the Democratic Party is seeing a slump in support for Kamala Harris among black men, and that it was a major concern in the upcoming presidential election. What started out as a fatherly lecture came back to bite back Obama. Black men took to social media to share their frustration.
Yeah, we're grown-ass men. You don't get up on a podium and speak to grown-ass men that entitled for their vote when you're supposed to be doing something for the people. And then you speak down to black men and you imply that they're sexist and misogynist, and that's the reason for not wanting to vote for Kamala when we're thinking about policies, we're thinking about benefits for community. You're going straight into identity politics and shame, and black men are supposed to just be okay with that? That's a crazy strategy. He's taking advantage of the fact that black men and women overwhelmingly vote Democrat. So you're just taking advantage. You would never have that speech to a group of white men, a group of white women, a group of Asian men, a group of Asian women. You would not ever do that. You would be risking. Why would you think you can do that to black men? It just shows what you think of the black men. No respect. That's what it comes down to. Y'all don't see it, man. Y'all don't hear me.
While some cracked jokes about the former president, others told him to get lost and go back to his mansion. Most users said that they did not need anyone to tell them whom they should be voting for. Some black men took pot shots at Barack Obama. One user even said that Obama acted like a black father himself by disappearing for years and only coming back when he had the authority.
Wait, they just violated. What the fuck? Wait. Hold up. What did they just say? Whoa.
One user even said that Obama acted...
This is Boyce Watkins. Boyce Watkins said that?
I've seen him do it.
Whoa. Boyce Watkins, you need some. You gotta explain this, bruh.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Acted like a black father himself by disappearing for years and only coming back when he had the authority. One user even said that Obama acted like a black father himself by disappearing for years and only coming back when he had the authority.
Wait a minute.
Survey said.
What Boyce Watkins said was Barack Obama lecturing black men is like a deadbeat dad not speaking to his kids for a decade, then showing up like he has some kind of authority. That's what Boyce Watkins said. What she repeated is not what Boyce Watkins said.
One user even said that Obama acted like a black father himself.
He acted like a black father himself.
By disappearing for years and only coming back when he had the authority.
That's not what he said. What did you do? Yo, she violated, bro. She violated. That's not what he said. She reframed that to make it look like he calling black fathers deadbeat dads. What the fuck was that? Hey, yo.
Learn the rules.
That's crazy.
Many accused Obama, who was also the first black American president, of doing nothing for the black community.
Now I gotta fact check everything that she reads.
The authority. Many accused Obama, who was also the first black American president, of doing nothing for the black community.
I gotta read what you said. When he did absolutely nothing for the black community that he claimed to represent. Okay, let me read the first part to get it in context, because she can't be trusted now. She misrepresented those statements, so now we gotta review everything. Again! I genuinely cannot understand why Barack Obama is still seen as a credible messenger for the black community during this election season, when he did absolutely nothing for the black community that he claimed to represent. Okay, so it's accurate. She was actually right this time. He actually did say that shit.
I've seen him do it.
Barack Obama wanted to gather more support for Vice President Kamala Harris, but he's managed to do the opposite. Recent polls show that not just black men and black voters, but even Latin Americans are pivoting towards Donald Trump over Kamala Harris.
So he basically just sabotaged her campaign with that speech. That pathetic speech shaming the crowd. Sabotaged her campaign. The numbers are even more. Man, this is bad, Obama. What are you doing out here?
Support for the Republican candidate among black voters is at an all-time high in over a decade. Meanwhile, black support for the Democrats has fallen by 14%.
It's fallen, but do you see how high the support is?
Is at an all-time...
U.S. election support amongst black voters, Democrat. 2020, 90%.
...time high in over a decade. Meanwhile, black support for the Democrats has...
2024, 78%. This is what I'm talking about. The numbers they're dropping. They're dropping, but they're still so high to the point where you feel the Democratic leaders and Obama specifically feels entitled to the vote. so we could just speak to them and just feel like, oh, we got to get more of this vote out. We're that entitled to the vote where we don't even have to tell y'all what we're doing. We don't have to tell y'all no policy that you could be in favor of. Let's just get this vote up. Let's pay identity politics and we black, so vote. It's like, come on, man. What are we doing out here?
Fallen by 14%. Among Hispanic voters, Donald Trump is seeing a rise among Latino men, while Hispanic women still support Kamala Harris in large numbers. But Trump is trying to change the tide. He knows that he's growing popular among the Hispanic community. And this is despite the Republican frequently calling Latino countries a shithole while terming Hispanic migrants as criminals and rapists.
That's crazy,
Identity
yo.
and race politics is...
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm talking about Obama shaming the black people that he wants votes from, but this guy is disparaging their country, calling them rapists and murderers. Well, he hasn't said that in a long time. They're kind of riding that comment out. But, pause.
Speaking in the United States. The Democrats are reaching out to people of color, and so is Donald Trump. He already enjoys the support of white male voters by an overwhelming number. While the vice president enjoys support from women and women of color. After migration, economy, and abortion, race has made an entry in the race for the White House.
Barack Obama has started a war, and he's about to get this work. He came after black men in Pittsburgh when he said this.
You're thinking about sitting out or even...
Now, we've seen this already. We don't want a repeat of this. We've seen this in another video. We can just fast forward this part and get to the commentary chat.
Being a man is putting women down. That's not acceptable.
But black men have fired back, and it's going viral on Twitter.
Yo, so I'm CJ Pearson, one of the young black men.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
It only takes a little bit.
Sorry, chat. I seen that shirt and I was like, wait a minute. Is that single mom song with the pamper ass nigga on that shirt? But it says simp and a lame. It says simp and a lame, so that's certified. Never mind, chat. It passed the test. Let's get it.
President Obama yesterday tried to lecture into supporting Kamala Harris just because she, quote, looks like me. Now, guys, I don't know about y'all, but I think that my ancestors fought far too hard for my right to vote in this country for me to support someone just because they look like me. Especially when that person who looks like me doesn't give a damn about me. Kamala Harris, throughout her entire political career, hasn't done a single thing for black people, black men, or anyone, actually.
Hold up! What is this shit?
Bro, what the hell's going on, man? What the hell is going on? Okay, so you're using this as a moment to cherry pick off of Barack Obama's bad statements to basically say, yeah, fuck Kamala for X, Y, and Z reasons. That's not the focus of what we're doing here. We're lamenting the point that Barack Obama's comments were disrespectful, condescending, and entitled. That's what we're doing here. You took the wrong focus, sir. So what we're going to do is we're going to deviate off course. We're going to get into Stephen A. Smith's comments, and then we're going to get back to this O'Shea video before we get into Adam 22 getting cooked, because that's still happening. Hold up, chat. Be a little disorganized this episode, but that's the norm at this point.
For today's show, I have to get started with some politics because I've had something on my mind that I've been holding in for the last few days or so, and I'm not going to hold it in anymore. It's specifically the presidential election, which is just over 2 weeks away. National polls show former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris essentially in a dead heat heading towards November 5th. Both campaigns were on the trail over the last week or so, including this weekend, including some of their surrogates as well. And for Kamala Harris, that would include former President Barack Obama, who hit the trail stomping for Democrats. The former president made headlines this weekend, actually a few days before this weekend as well, speaking to a forum of black men in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Obama spoke directly to all men who may be considering not voting or voting for Donald Trump in this election cycle. Before I go any further, I want you to hear exactly what this man had to say.
I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think.
Again!
Speaking to men directly now. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable.
Respectfully, President Obama.
All due respect, shut the hell up. I want to hear that.
That's what I thought he was gonna say, but let's get into what he actually says.
What you said is not acceptable. I'm gonna say it again. Respectfully, what you said is not acceptable. Not to me, not to a host of black men out there.
Yep. Now this is one issue that I've seen that it's pretty much a consensus on, that black men they do not fuck with the statement at all. I've seen in every corner of media, black men looked at this message and they're like, Obama, this ain't it, sir. This ain't it. Sit this one out, sir. You getting in the way. You getting in the way. That was the sentiments everywhere. Whether it be manosphere, red pill, passport bro, whether it be folks that are actually into politics, whether it be Republican, Democrat, whether it be on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, whether it be in hip hop, sports, every sector, corporate, everybody says in agreement that this was a bad move. You disrespected black men. Who are you talking to like that, sir? This guy forgot? Like, what's going on? Like, folks were not in favor of these comments.
Who's not even thinking about voting for Donald Trump. What you said is unacceptable. I'll tell you why in a minute. But before I do that, I want to go to Khalil Thompson, co-founder and executive director of Win with Black Men, who responded to criticism of Obama's comments. Take a look at what he had to say here. Quote, I believe President Obama is speaking to a tangible, visceral understanding of what it means for all men to relate to women in America. Calling out misogyny is not wrong.
Calling out misogyny is not wrong. Listen, I call up misogyny sometimes when I'm calling out Fresh and Fit and some of these dweebs, but you're reframing what happened. They weren't calling out misogyny. You were blaming black men and saying that they were potentially misogynistic and sexist why they're not voting for Kamala Harris the same way they voted for him, being unaccountable for the ineptitude of the party, being unaccountable for the policies that she put up front. Like, this is crazy work. And they're saying it's misogyny, saying, oh, then you're not voting for her because she's a woman. Meanwhile, they're the second highest group of individuals voting for Kamala Harris, black women first. So it's like, what are we doing out here? The entitlement. Filthy work, man.
End quote. To co-founder Khalil Thompson, you're wrong too.
Yep.
And what you said is unacceptable.
Yep.
You see, what you're missing is that you're basically accusing black men who come up with a reason to not support Kamala Harris as engaging in misogyny.
Yep.
Whatever happened to disagreeing without being disagreeable, President Obama? What happened to that? all of a sudden we want to challenge men and our love and our affection as black men for black women. We want to bring that into question because we've got an election coming up and people may have the temerity to think differently than you. It's because she's a woman that she's in danger of losing this election?
It's crazy.
Didn't Hillary Clinton win the popular vote in 2016?
Yep.
Didn't she get over 2.8 million more votes than Donald Trump in the popular vote for the 2016 election? Last time I checked, she's a woman. Are we there sitting here and implying?
And we have those numbers. 90% of black folks voted for Hillary Clinton. That includes black men. They had the number together. We've seen it earlier. We've seen the stat in the show. It dropped to 78% for Kamala Harris. But we're shaming and saying it's misogyny. This is crazy.
That black men would be more apropos to support a white woman than a black woman? Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying?
Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen that happen with Pearl. We've seen folks jump out the window to shit on every black woman out there to support Pearl.
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
We had coons like this issuing apologies after their L's.
I apologize to every black person I ever said that to.
Survey said.
God damn. It's a rhetorical question because it makes no sense to me. Before I go even further, let's hear more from Mr. Khalil Thompson himself. Quote, "We're not a monolith. However, we are just like every other American in this country who wants a good paying job that we can provide for our children and participate in their lives and the lives of our partner, that we can get them home safely, afford to go to the grocery store, save a little for retirement, and have a vacation." There is absolutely nothing wrong with that explanation, Khalil Thompson. Why didn't you say that from the jump? What's up with the misogyny comments? I will have you know, and President Obama, our 44th president of the United States, who I voted for not once but twice, who was the president from 2009 to 2017, who to me was exemplary, who to me had the greatest first lady in the history of this country, who has been a phenomenal role model to black people and to black men and the men across this globe. That same Barack Obama, how could you say something like that? How could you ignore the facts that are lying in front of all of us? You don't want Trump to be president. We think that Trump could be an unmitigated disaster. In my opinion, he'll be on a revenge tour. In my opinion, there's a lot of things he bloviated about and didn't deliver on. We don't want to get into too much about COVID. We don't want to get in too much about him overblowing his contribution to HBCUs, the wall that he was going to build, and the Mexican was going to pay for it. He ended up building 2% of the wall, and the Mexicans didn't pay a dime. We could get into a whole bunch of stuff about him. That's a given. I understand that. But let's get back to the part about black men. That's what we're going to talk about right now. That's what we're going to talk about. President Obama, why didn't you tell the folks with the cameras rolling and the black men in attendance that there's been diminishing black voters, particularly black men, since you were in office?
Yep.
In 2008.
Because black men felt less represented every election cycle. Less and less. Less cared for, less represented, less heard. This is what it comes down to. I've listened. I've witnessed it. I've seen it.
95% of the black populace voted for Barack Obama. It dipped in 2012 by about 6 to 8%. It dipped another 6% in 2016 when Hillary was running. It dipped even more in 2020 when Trump ran against Biden. It's been dipping.
Yep, it's been dipping. Folks are changing their mind out here. They're like, well, I'm not getting nothing out of this. Man, this is the problem. If you do not serve anybody's needs and you expect them to vote for you repeatedly, and they see year after year that nothing is happening for them individually as a community, they're like, come on, man, what are we doing out here? What is our community vote going towards? So people start pulling back their support. Let's get these likes up, chat. These likes are rather dusty. We need to get more likes to live in this algorithm. So let's get these likes up, chat. I'm going to give you all a second to get these likes up.
If y'all want to keep up with the news and this shit be going on, subscribe to LTTV. That nigga know everything about everything. I ain't gonna lie.
Come on, man.
Since 2008, it didn't just start. Was that about misogyny? Was that about a hesitancy to support our women? I am getting sick and tired of black men being raked through the coals because of some imagery of not being supportive of black women. Do you know what most black men would do if they saw a black woman getting harmed in the streets? They put their lives on the line for that sister.
And that's what my opinion about that brick lady shit was initially. Before we knew that she was a lying piece of dog shit, before we knew that, I was like, hey, yo, why people like so reluctant to help out abroad? Like, what the hell, man? She getting assaulted by a brick in the street? And everyone's like, oh, no, she was hitting men. I'm like, that's not true. That's a manosphere narrative. Then we found out she was lying, and both folks were lying. She wasn't hitting men, and she wasn't getting hit. The whole thing was cap. Either way, it's like when you hear incidents like that, that's what that whole thing was about. But I got cooked for that for some reason, but it is what it is. Let's get it.
We talked about the absence of black fathers in the past. What do we do simultaneously? We applaud the mothers who've uplifted us, who've nurtured us, who've made us into who we are. I can make an argument. No one loves women, particularly black women, more than black men.
Not lying. He's not lying. He is not lying.
No one. You must know this. Black men support the Democratic Party more than everyone but black women. That means we support the Democratic Party more than white women, more than white men, more than Latino women, more than Latino men, more than Asian women.
And you would never be that entitled to step up in front of those groups and speak to them the way you spoke to black men. And this is why when people don't understand why black men are so annoyed with these comments, it's because it's like, why are you treating us like the bottom of the barrel? You just, at any time you can just scoop us and we're supposed to just be your bitch. Like, it's disrespectful. He really treated black men like his son. Like, you just trying to son these niggas. Oh, you got to do what I say. And if you don't, you're sexist and you're misogynist. And it's like, what?
Jesus Christ.
It's like, relax, sir. The entitlement. What are you doing for our community, sir? Are you trying to infantile us like we're grown men? Trying to build a community out here. What are we doing out here?
More than Asian men? Nobody, in terms of percentage, supports the Democratic Party more than black people. Black women first, black men second. Even as we sit here today, as Kamala Harris is neck and neck with Donald Trump, she's getting at least 80% of the black vote, according to the polls. And if there's a question mark about her, why don't we tell the truth? It may very well have nothing to do with her, per se, but what she has inherited. You have a president in Joe Biden who has his own history, Don't get me started with the crime bill of 1994. We want to bring up Trump in the 70s and rent control and all and denying rent to black folks. We don't want to bring up Biden and how he got along with segregationists in the 70s. We don't want to bring up how Kamala Harris, then a presidential candidate in 2020, called him out for his support of segregationists when it came to busing. We want to ignore that.
No, I seen that. I was surprised. I was like, wait, this happened in a primary where Kamala was coming at Joe Biden like that? It was calling him out. I was like, damn, you want to hide things like this just in case Joe wins, and then they use it against him. But Joe did win that, and they didn't use it against him. But let's get it.
You don't think black people heard that? You don't think there's some trepidation in the hearts and the minds of black people from time to time? At least from the past? Not even talking about what he's done during this administration, which some people will believe his policies and his heart have been in the right place in some of their eyes. You're President Obama. How do you ignore that? Inflation, the cost of living, the price of gas, the price of groceries. That don't matter? Folks ain't paying attention to that? Immigration and our borders. And this belief that there's an elevated level of sensitivity towards them as opposed to black folks struggling, if not starving in this country. Yes, that plays a role too. I brought it up right here on this show. When the mayor of New York was talking about $53 million in prepaid credit cards for immigrants who came across our borders illegally and having prepaid credit cards for them. And I said, wait a minute, black folks been starving for years. We ain't get that. You don't think they notice? You don't think they notice? Is it possible that the only reason some black folks, not me, but some black folks, may not be inclined to vote, or they may be a bit disenchanted, or dare I say may even be willing to go as far as voting for Trump? Is it possible that it's policy as opposed to misogyny? Is it possible that they've looked at a Democratic Party that is locked in on addressing or not addressing immigration and folks crossing the borders illegally?
And is it possible that Kamala Harris only had half a campaign? Half a campaign, because it started off being Trump versus Biden. And then halfway, Biden was like, you know what, I'm too old, I can't do this anymore, we're passing the buck. So Trump had two opponents, but Kamala had half a campaign trail. So there's that as well, amongst everything else that he said.
And have prioritized focusing on that, along with other issues, identity politics and beyond, that has become such a focal point that has turned off folks in the African American community. Some, not most, not all, just some. Is that possible? And is it possible that that is the reason why even Kamala Harris herself has become a bit more assertive in addressing the issue of immigration, in addressing the economy, in addressing a plan for Black America as it pertains to facilitating more business loans for minority ownership and things of that ilk? Mm-hmm. Is it possible that black folks, particularly black men, more so than the black women, who you look at Roe v. Wade and the women's rights and what have you in Trump's position, he's got no chance in hell of luring them in. But is it possible that when it comes to the men are saying, wait a minute, get all that, but what you gonna do for us? Could it be the issues as opposed to just misogyny? You know the answer to that question better than me, Barack Obama.
We already know certainly that it's about the policies and it's not about no misogyny. Hillary Clinton winning the popular vote over Donald Trump and getting 90% of the black vote is prime indicator that it's not about misogyny. It's not about, oh, we don't want to see a woman president. It has nothing to do with that. It's about policy and the fact that Kamala had half a campaign trail. She didn't win the primary. She didn't outwin and beat the Democratic candidates going. She was a vice president who was appointed this candidacy, and it's kind of like, come on, man. Y'all expecting the most right now, and we have not heard her have a emphatic speech where she speaks about the issues that are most prevalent, and folks want to hear something like that. We want to hear something we want to hear policy that supersedes anything that Trump's put out to this point. Like, if we don't have anything better, it's like folks are just gonna be skeptical, and a lot of folks were already still Kamala voters. We're voting Kamala. And then we hear this from Barack Obama, and it's like, bro, who are you talking to like this? Like, what kind of entitlement is this? Started thinking twice again at what party they're like, man, this is crazy.
The right may have a problem with you. Folks on the left, Democrats, progressives, you're revered. As a black man who is an independent, you are an incredible role model and somebody that I have admired for years. But to say that to black men, to attribute their hesitancy, their reluctance, their reticence to support Kamala Harris to you just don't want to support a woman, really? Respectfully, sir, that's messed up. That's a messed up thing to accuse black men of. When you know good and damn well there are a plethora of reasons for us to point to than that to justify our apprehension. Doesn't mean you ain't gonna vote for her. Doesn't mean you don't want her to win. But my Lord, is it a crime to not be ultra excited when you see some of the choices that are before us and you see the decisions that have been made and the messages that have been disseminated? A black man asking, what about us, is not a crime. It's not misogyny. It's us exercising our rights as American citizens to question why you should have our support, which you yourself as the president for 8 years told us we had every right to do.
Yep. It's like, you of all people, Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, know this. You exactly what he just said, you know to be true. And when he was running as president, he was not that entitled to have a speech like that. That speech, I think he forgot, man. He's been out of this for too long. He forgot and pretty much just, I don't know, he sabotaged Kamala with that speech.
That's all I'm going to say for now. Love me some Barack Obama. Always have, always will. Just very disappointed that you would say that to black men who are a bit apprehensive. I'm voting for Kamala, so you weren't talking to me. But still, it's not right for you to say that, sir. It's just wrong.
Now, he said he's voting for Kamala. I don't know, man. When people say they're voting one way on air, I'm inclined to not believe this shit. I'm sorry, man. People say all sorts of stuff, but they hide their real intentions of who they're really voting for. So I don't know, man. I don't know. The message has to align all the way for me to fully believe it. But you have to be fully in support with your rhetoric for me to believe. Like when Candace Owens says she's voting Trump, I'm going to believe it because she's going in on Kamala saying that her parents are not her parents and she's lying about being black and she's doing X, Y, and Z. The thoughts and the content align with who she says she's going to vote for. Stephen A. talking about, oh, I'm an independent and blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, come on. What are we doing out here?
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
But shout out to Stephen A. Smith with that speech, because for most of it, I definitely agree with most of the things he was saying in that one. Now, we have a whole other part of this where we have O'Shea and a bunch of other folks standing up towards are against Barack Obama. Then we have the other part of this episode where there's even this? Forgot about this. What, man, I put too much shit in this damn episode. We ain't reacting to all of this in one episode. Then the Adam 22 stuff? Come on, man. Come on, man. What are we doing out here? I put this together? What the fuck, man?
Get him out of here! He's got no place in here! Get rid of him! Okay?
And I wasn't even showing y'all what I was looking through. Jesus Christ. I thought this was on the screen the whole time. My bad, chat. It was just me. Yeah, man, we have a lot to react to in the second part of this show. We're going to have to do a part 2. We going to have to do a part 2. We are going to have to do a part 2. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're going to be right back at it with a better title and a more clickbaity thumbnail. Yep, we out. Y'all make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Join the members. We are having members-only streams coming up shortly. And, yeah. This guy said stay off the weed while he's rolling up.
No, you can't be that. That's hypocritical. That's hypocritical.
All right, chat, we out. Yeah.
Hit the super chat. We are going to ban people today, so we are getting rid of all you guys. So if you want to come out and be disrespectful, you gotta go.
No, I have your money. Come, walk to the door.
Pay me.
Tell her let's go to the door.
Yes. Pay me.
Tell her.
No, I want to see the money right here.
Come on.
Here. I want to see the fucking money here.